Hey, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I am your host, Ethan Van Sciver, comic book artist with 25 years of experience in the business. Not an art teacher, but somebody who has been there and learned quite a bit in his day, and done quite a few comic books. Now, yesterday I came up with this idea. So many people are always asking me to review their portfolios. They send me pages from comics, they send me sketches, and they say, "What do you think?" I generally don't like to give my opinion about other people's work, but if I can do it in a helpful way that is instructive not only to the person who is presenting the work to me, but also to an audience of people who also might be working on their own comic book art, that seems like a good use of this channel to me, especially a channel called Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I put out the first episode of Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews yesterday, and was stunned by the reaction. Everyone loved it. Everybody wanted more of it. And great, let's do it. Again, the purpose of this channel has always been to create enthusiasm about comic books, but more specifically to encourage people to draw and teach them new tricks, teach them new ideas, teach them some basic fundamentals, and then give them criticism along the way, helpful criticism. So brutally honest, what does that mean? Some people worried that brutally honest would mean cruel. I want you to understand right now that I have no desire to hurt anyone's feelings. Okay, this is not something that I'm doing for entertainment purposes of the type of, say, Gordon Ramsay. That's not what we're doing here. I will be brutally honest, and I will tell you exactly what you're doing wrong. I will tell you what you need to fix, and I'll try to instruct you in new ways of thinking about your approach to storytelling, if I have any. If you are coming here to be validated in any way, if you're sending me your portfolio to basically get me to say, "Wow, you're awesome," or "I've got a job for you," none of those things are going to happen. That is not the purpose of this show or this channel. Basically, the purpose of this channel is to create videos that instruct other people, and so I'd be happy to review your portfolio in that spirit. Today, we are going to look at a fellow named Chris, and he sent over his portfolio. He is an adult. This is another thing I want to make clear. I am getting portfolios from like high school kids or kids that just got out of high school. Hey, I feel you. I was 19 when I started showing pros my work. I want you to cook a little bit more. I will look at your portfolios anyway. If you send them over, I'll just look at them. I might not respond to you. If you're kind of under the age of 20, I'll look at them. But unless I see something like spectacular there, I can't put you on yet. Generally you need time to cook. You need time to kind of adjust and mature, because these criticisms are going to be thorough, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Okay, that having been said, let's hurt Chris's feelings. All right, just kidding. All right, so here's Chris's first page here. First of all, Chris, your inking is bad, and I know that's a rough thing, a rough way to put it, but here's what you guys have to understand about inking and line weights. Okay, when an inker approaches a page, he has to first break down the scene into foreground, midground, background. There are many ways to do this. A good way to do it is to think of black, white, gray. And then to use those three levels of basic, detail noise, I would call it, to separate the foreground from background. In other words, the foreground could be super detailed, or the foreground could be black silhouette, or the foreground could be basically white with almost no detail on it. And then the midground could be any of those things, and then the background could be any of those things as well. You want to use those kind of black, white, gray, like if you were to blur your eyes at it, you would see those kind of tones to separate foreground from background. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it would be with line weights. Line weights will make things in the foreground pop right back at you here. For example, we've got these beams of light, all right? let's say we're going to approach this from a line weight kind of way of separating foreground from background. Right now, this just looks like a mess. I mean, if you look at it long enough, you can see what's going on. Certainly, color is going to help. Color is going to help Chris's whole portfolio. But you don't want to just rely on the colors, because you might get hit with a colorist who's not so good, and then what are you going to do? You do want to use line weights to separate foreground from background. So we've got these lines coming at us. These lines, as you can see, are exactly the same weight, and weight meaning thickness, okay? The thickness of these lines. Exactly the same as the lines he used around these boulders back here. Exactly the same as the lines he used around these boulders that are further away. Exactly the same as these. So basically, it looks like he's using some kind of a technical pen to ink, and he's just kind of giving it a once-over here. Thus, all the lines are the same weight, and thus everything hangs in the same space. This is an elementary mistake. I would say to Chris, right now, I would say don't ink your own work. But I'm not going to say that to him. I'm going to actually say, no, ink your own work, but learn. So the stuff that's in the foreground, let's put a heavier line weight around it. Let's go over these lines a couple times. Let's make them a little bit bolder, so to speak. Get it? Because they're rocks. Sorry. Let's make them a little bit more bold than the stuff that is behind this beam. Okay, these can be a little bit thinner. The planets behind them, the lines on them can be a little bit more kind of small. Basically, you want to use the line weights to kind of push some things out and make them three-dimensional, push them into our eye, into our view a little bit more, and then push the stuff in the background back by using smaller lines. Something that did help very much is just outer space blackness. That really, really helps to kind of push the background there. The problem is everything past the very background. So that's something you're going to need to work on. Overall, I'm not really sure what all this is. That's the other thing. Okay, so let's read this and see. Because there are a lot of beams coming at us, I think. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I think that's a planet. I think these are meteors. Is this a planet that's exploding? There came a day when the ideals I believed in were rejected by my people. They were deceived by a lie. In the end, they destroyed themselves and everything they built. My family and I escaped into the stars. We searched for a new galaxy and a new home and lived there until... All right, so this is a planet that is exploding. This must be them escaping, although I don't know why you wouldn't just actually show them escaping. Are they in a spaceship? Are they flying without means of a spaceship? Why would you just... are you saving the introduction of your characters for the next page? Guys, I'm going to say it over and over and over again during the course of these criticisms. You need to show. You need to show people things. I know the story exists in your head, number one, and also I know that things are tough to draw. That's why you get paid to be a comic book artist, because it's hard work and it needs to be done. You need to make this crystal clear. Exploding planet, all this other gibberish, all these other planets back here aren't even important, and they are ruling the day because you've rendered them so carefully and you've added so much stuff up here. My eye is drawn right up here. I don't know what this mess is, and this is supposed to be my focus. And then on top of that, you're talking about people escaping an exploding planet. You're basically telling the Superman origin story. Whenever you see Superman's origin, you always see his little rocket ship, don't you? Flying away towards us from the planet, because that is the focus. The primary focus is that Superman escaped. The secondary focus is that his planet exploded. The third focus after that is, oh, look at all the other stuff in the background. There were more planets and a sun over here. You have to show. You have to show. You can't just expect people to read your minds. You have to be very, very clear. You have to almost, when you're thinking about your audience, realize that they are going to scan the page and form an impression of it in their minds in a split second. So you have to spoon feed it to them, okay? Let's go to the next page here. All right, so we track the object a light year away. Okay, I don't really get it. This panel is a little bit more clear. It's obviously, you can't see it. This panel is a little bit more clear. It seems to be some kind of streaking kind of meteor through outer space. Again, good idea to use the blackness of outer space to contrast with the flaming whiteness, kind of fiery, whatever this is. This really makes this stand out and seem hot. Yeah, fine panel. Here we go again. I don't know what's happening here. And I know you're probably relying on color to work that out, but okay, so this, I assume, is this streak here, and it's hitting something, but I don't know what this is. All right. Again, I mean, okay, it's a big temptation for amateur artists to go to do close-ups because establishing things is a pain. I mean, it's much easier to just draw a real close-up of this hitting this and just hope that people know what you're talking about, but they don't know what you're talking about. You really do, even if it requires 2 more panels to make it clear that this has hit another planet here or another surface of something and a spaceship, whatever this is, you need to actually work hard to make that clear to people. It crashed on the far side of our compound. Yeah, I mean, is this the ground or is this a building looking down? What is this? This is smoke. Yeah, I can't tell. I don't know what's going on. It gets better though because we get introduced to a living character here. I like this little robot puppy. Color is definitely going to sort this panel out. Once again, I won't keep repeating it, but I want you to hear it in your head. Line weights, they're all the same here. This must be smoke, I think, of the object that's hit the ground. This must be... what is this? Okay, so I'm assuming this is kind of the edge of the hole, like if the object landed in a crater. We sent our scouts Abe and Bia to investigate. You go first, Abe. If something happens, I'll go in for help. So he's looking down into a hole, but you can't really see that. All right, let me get a piece of paper. All right, let me see if I can get this to... We're kind of low tech here, guys. All right. So we've got his dog. Basically what I'm assuming is happening here is we've got a crater. First, let's just draw the panel shape roughly. All right, let me see if I can get this in the whole paper. I'll lift it up a little more. Yeah, I need to get better equipment for this. All right, so this is our panel. And we've got a kind of a robot dog, and it looks like a robot bird, and they're looking into what should be a crater, a smoking crater. The problem is the original artist here, he drew it straight on, so we can't really tell. This dog just appears to be sitting on a ledge. We're not really sure that, I mean, this could be curtains for all we know. That doesn't really look like smoke. So how do we show that the dog and the bird are looking into a hole? So let's just go sit in the hole with the crashed object or person. Let's draw this kind of a shape here. Let's use 1 point perspective right here. Okay, there's a little dot there because we're looking up, and let us basically use that to kind of define the edges of the crater. All right, so let's just say this. What we're gonna do is we're also going to use blacks here. Okay, so we're going to heavily kind of silhouette and shadow the edges of the ground here. He does want to have smoke coming out. That's cool. So let's do wisps of smoke, like so, coming out of the edges. We can then use our eraser. Okay. So this is basically going to be kind of our rough panel layout here. And then we've got our dog character who is now looking down. So we're going to actually see him in kind of perspective. He's going to be small. Hey. Kind of like this. Okay. Little robot doggy. And then I don't know what this bird is doing. Maybe the bird is sitting on, I'm not sure what the bird is sitting on there. But it doesn't matter because we'll just put a boulder right here. We'll put a rock that maybe was tossed up out of the crater on impact. All right. So then we've got the bird up here, and the bird is actually talking to the dog. So we're going to go ahead and have the bird's head looking at the dog. Yeah. All right, and then if you want to, I would go ahead and black out the sky. No, because this is black. Would I? I would, actually. I would. I'd go ahead and black out the sky with stars, so you could actually put what they used to do, BWS, black with stars, which I used to think stood for Barry Windsor Smith. I was very wrong. But yeah, okay, so that way you're getting kind of a look into darkness here. You've got the smoke coming out. Now it's pretty clear, isn't it, that the dog and the bird are looking into a crater. They're looking into a hole, and he's saying, hey, and he's been sent to investigate the crater, and the bird is saying, hey, you go first. He's just looking down. If something happens, I'll go for help. All right. Also, the hole looks kind of scary here, so apparently it's kind of deep, and yeah. All right, so let's go back to what we have here on the page. All right, so the dog, I believe, jumps into the hole. I don't know. Is it a hole? What is this? What is he doing here? He's investigating something. All right, I might have been wrong. It might not even be a crater. This might just be, he might just be approaching. All right. Beach of the Dragonfly. Next page. Oh. All right, hang on a second. Let's get readjusted here. All right. I'm not sure what's going on here at all. I'm sorry. I gotta really look at this carefully. I thought I did know, and now I'm questioning myself. The dog goes woof and jumps forward. The bird is sitting on the dog's head. I can see here. I don't know what this is in the background. I'm not sure what this is. I see smoke, so this must be wreckage of some kind. Yeah, I don't know. All right. You got to take your time. You got to slow down. I know it's, this looks like a layout. This looks like a very rough kind of pencil thumbnail layout for somebody else to finish. Clarity is urgently needed here for the story to make sense. The image to make sense. I see the dog. I don't know what this kind of like shape is here. I don't know what this building is in the background. I have no sense of place. It's very, very important that you ground your characters and ground your story in some kind of reality, some kind of believable. You've got to send messages to them. What is this planet they're on? What is it, a planet? What's the background look like? What, all right. Are they alone here? Are there other beings flying around doing something in the buildings? Yeah, these are all questions that really need to be carefully addressed, and it does require work. And it's going to be hard work. It's going to be kind of annoying, and it's going to seem unrewarding. But the end result, if you don't put that work in, is confusion. It's confusion and a sense of kind of just feeling aloof about what's going on. Beat to the Dragonfly. The dog hears something. The bird hears something. And then we cut over here, which looks like a whole different scene. This is the worst case scenario, Commander Stripe. We've got a nice shot. This is very nicely shadowed here. Commander Stripe. Like, once again, I will mention line weights, how they're all the same and they're kind of just ending up. The only thing that's kind of separating things is a very nice use of shadowing here. So, you know, obviously, you know, we've got a consistent light source being used on the ship and on the rocks, and that is good. I'm not sure where this is in relationship to this at all. I hope to find out in the next panel. No. Okay, so here we have Captain Galaxy and I are on our way. So she's Captain Galaxy, and he is a guy, I don't know who he is, but he's got a gun and, all right, let's back up. I don't like the sound of that pop. Now, and then suddenly, I didn't think he'd be here. The universe can be a small place, Jen. All right, so they are existing in the same kind of space. Now, here's what happened. You dropped out the blacks here for the sky with the stars, and it immediately cut the scene on accident. You cut the scene from where they are to a whole different place. It's like, meanwhile, over here, and you did that very subtly by having no connection between these two scenes, when, in fact, I mean, really, you had two choices here, and two things would have actually helped. Number one, I would put the back of the dog's head right in this corner. You'd see his ear right here. So you'd see that he sees the spaceship. He sees it. Number two, bring the background with the stars over there. Boom, you've connected these two scenes. All right. Captain Galaxy and I are on our way. Cool. They're on their way. This here should have been a cool panel. This should have been this should have been this. It should have been that big. These two are our heroes, I assume. I'm not sure. But they're exciting. They should be coming right at us. They should be big introductory shots. I would go back, and they're coming out of the ship, I believe. I would say Captain Galaxy and I are on our way. I would draw this panel very kind of smaller than this, and I would show kind of silhouetted shots of these two getting out of the ship. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. I have no idea what's going on. But I'd show these two coming out of the ship, and I wouldn't present them until this panel. So this panel, they're small. We don't really see them. We see their shadowy forms. And then this panel, boom, big panel. They're coming right at us. They're taking up a whole big portion of the page. They look exciting as they race into action. Instead, you made this exciting panel small, and you made this boring panel big. This panel could have been much, much smaller. An inset. You know what an inset panel is? An inset panel is like this. All right, so here's how we would have drawn this scene. All right. So let's see. Let's find that. Let's just say this is the entire kind of space that we're working on here. All right. This is like the lower 2/3 of the page or something like that. So we've seen the spaceship. Oh, you know what? Let's just redraw the whole page. Let's turn this sideways here. All right, so storytelling, guys. It's not always about just drawing. It's oftentimes about storytelling as well. All right, so we've got our dog. This is just fine. This panel is almost, perfect, even though I would give more emphasis to his ear. Over here, I'd move his head over just a little bit more. Oh no, he hears something. What? And the parakeet turns his head. That's fine. This all needs to be black with stars. BWS. Over here, we're gonna kind of bring his ear in because we've stuck it out. We've stuck his ears out. We know now that this simple shape here, with a shadow behind it, is this dog, okay? And the bird. Let's put the bird on his head too. We can't forget the bird. All right. And then we see in the distance, we see this beautifully rendered chunk of rock here, and this spaceship. This spaceship must be the thing that crashed. Okay, I'm kind of putting everything together now. All right, so we've got that. we've got the spaceship landing. I would put it askew just a little bit because it's almost like he's witnessing it. So I would actually tilt the panel so that, you know, the horizon line was right there rather than just flat on. It's more interesting. It's more like somebody is witnessing something. Okay, then we can cut closer to the ship since we've established it. We've connected him, these two, to this. Then we can get rid of them for a little bit. We can get rid of the dog and the bird because we've established that they are there. So we have the spaceship. We want to show a feature of the spaceship as we get closer to it, and we want to have our heroes beginning to exit the ship. Okay? So we have little silhouetted shots of them. They're saying Captain Galaxy and I are on our way. Big, huge shot right here. This is called, this is called an inset panel. It's a small panel that's inset to the big one here. I would actually make this bigger. And I think I will. I would actually do this. Okay. And let's just take up the whole, you know what? Yeah, let's just take up the whole thing. This is called a full bleed, what I'm doing right now. Full bleed panel, which means that you won't see the border on this side or this side. I'm going to make the art actually bleed outwards so that when you get the finished page, the art will extend from this corner of the page to this corner of the page and bleed off of it. Almost, so you're going to have to be aware that anything that you draw up to this edge, kind of past this edge, is going to disappear in the printing, but it's going to look cool. It's going to look like it was really zoomed in on. All right, so here we have our heroes, and now we see that they are racing into action. So we want to draw them as big as we can. All right, basically just, this guy's got a gun. And she is up here. Let's move this gun down a little bit, okay? And then she is up here flying at us. He's got a little camera or something on his head. I don't know what this is. All right. But, you know, I mean, everything is, I like characters that look like they're imaginative. I mean, this guy did make up, Chris made up his own characters, and they are very, very original looking. They look like nothing else that I've ever seen, and that is pretty cool. I'm going to bring his leg all the way down as he's running. And she is closer to us than he is. And we'll see, she's got power in her hands here, like power energy beams. Okay. That is the layout that we're looking for here, okay? This is the layout. I would put the horizon line, again, askew in the background like this. So this is the surface of the planet. Let's draw some mountains back here. Let's draw the spaceship now. It's further away. Okay, so they've left the spaceship sitting here. All right, and then we've got one more panel to do. And let's see what Chris wanted here. He says, I didn't think he'd be here. The universe can be a small place, Jen, and you see that the dog and the bird are witnessing this. Fine, okay, so I don't like that. What I would do is I would cut right back to another inset panel right here. 2 inset panels. Okay, another inset panel from the dog and the bird's point of view. And we would just kind of look over the dog's shoulder. Here's our dog, and he's watching all this go down. And we would show our 2 heroes over here with their backs to us. And now they're saying, I didn't think he'd be here. The universe can be a small place, Jen. Okay. This would be better. I'd rather listen in on what they're saying than actually be with them as they're saying that. Okay, because just seems like a better plan. All right, so this I think would be a more exciting layout and a more and better storytelling than what we have here. All right, let's go back. Dun, dun, dun. All right, is that good enough? I don't know if that's good enough. Sorry guys, a lot of these videos are going to be me readjusting the camera. All right. Certain percentage of the video is readjusting the camera. We have to understand that. All right, so now we're over their shoulders. We're closer to them. That's good. He's called the Annihilator, a robot built for one purpose: to destroy everything in his path. I like this. I have no sense of where this is at all. I like the panel. I wish that the panel prior to this established a little bit better our sense of location and place. I'm just seeing where we are as kind of like the moon right now. And I've just kind of pieced that together just from a couple of pieces of details that I've seen. However, there seems to be some kind of skyscraper on the moon. So I don't really know for sure. So they're witnessing this robot. Interesting kind of flaming kind of things here. I like the fact that he brought in some gray tones here. It looks like he's doing some ink wash. All right, let's see. Then his hands, one of his hands opens, and he comes to life, a planetary genocidal maniac, and his eyes light up. Okay, that's fine. And he has the power. Okay. There are times when you need to kind of pull back and show all, and there are times to really flex muscle and give people an exciting shot. And this would be one of those times. Is this a flashback or is this happening now? I don't know. Okay, I'm not sure. This might be a flashback. I don't know if he's actually coming to life. It looks like he's coming to life here. All right, let me give you two ideas. If these are flashback panels, then and I can't tell because I think this is my last page. Yeah, this is the last page that I have. So they're talking about here's the world of my world. Follow him, my daughter. This sounds like a flashback. If it's going to be a flashback, you're going to have to find a visual way of letting us know that. And I recommend changing the shape of the panel borders in some way, maybe making them rounded at the edges. Color could also help by putting the panels in like gray tones, black and white, to make it look like it's in the past. Something. If this is kind of like, flashback panels, a historical overview of how this character was a genocidal planetary maniac, then we need to show that it was in the past. If this character is coming alive right now, which is actually what I suspect is happening due to evidence seen here, his hand opening up, his eyes lighting up, then this should be a way more exciting shot than it is. And I mean, I want to see this character filling up this whole, I mean, just his head up here, his shoulders. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, there's a guy here with his hands. Okay, this panel is absolutely positively indecipherable. Slow down, back up if you need to. You're backing up when you don't need to. Like here, this should be a much more exciting close-up shot, and then you're getting really close, which makes things indecipherable and really strange when we do need to understand what's going on. Something is being destroyed here. I can gather that. I just don't know if he's doing it. I don't know who's doing it. I don't know who this person is. Maybe this visage with the hair. I don't get it. Yeah, and then we've got our guy again here, and he's standing here. He's tarnished. He's smoking. It is said all perished. Apparently he survived. Yeah, he did. All right. It seems to me that most of this review was about storytelling, and I think that's the main issue here, Chris, is the storytelling is really, really tough to follow. Secondary concerns are your drawing skills, but that's, I mean, again, I kind of am more merciful about things like that because I do believe in something called puppets. It's like, hey, as long as you draw things consistently, it's kind of okay. Like, I would tell you, hey, the scratchiness of these inks isn't really helping. I know you're supposed to say he's old and kind of rusty maybe and dirty, but it's got to be a better way to sort of find a texture that will make that a little more clear, make that a little bit more palatable. I'm not so much worried about the drawing. I am worried about your inks, which are affecting your storytelling, and then I'm worried about your storytelling, as an artist in that order. I think the inks would kind of make some of the better inks, using the techniques that I mentioned in the thought process that I was talking about, might help you a lot. But also, remember, you have to tell the story. I know that, what the panels that need to get drawn are difficult. I know they're going to be time consuming. I know that you will not be appreciated for the time that you put into the panels that you're drawing. Believe me, I know all this. All of my hardest work goes into panels that nobody cares about. My wife comes in and goes, "You're still working on that panel? It's not even a big deal." Yep, all the boring panels take the longest to draw, but you have to do them because that is how the story happens in your reader's head. And your reader is going to tune out on you if he or she is not following the world that you're building for them. If he is not following the magic show. All of this is a magic show. It's one big illusion. You're creating an illusion. So put your back into it. Yeah. Okay. I hope this was helpful. I know that this work here was done last May. So this is kind of old. I hope you're still going. I hope you're still working on pages. I would say to you that it looks like you're having a good time and you've got some pretty neat ideas. Express them better. Take the time to express them better, my friend. All right, this was Ethan Van Sciver, Comic Artist Pro Secrets, Brutally Honest Portfolio Review number 2. If you would like me to review your portfolio in such a way, you can email or on Twitter, you can DM me 4 to 6 pages of sequential art. I'm not going to talk about your pinups or your sketchbook or anything like that. I will talk about your storytelling. I will talk about your sequential art. I only want to review work from adults. I don't want to review work from kids. That means if you're over the age of 20 and you have thick skin and are prepared for harsh criticism and will value and use it, you're the candidate I'm looking for. Chris seems to be that kind of a guy, and I appreciate his sending his portfolio to me for this video. I also want to thank everybody for super chats, for subscribing. Hey, check and see if you're still subscribed. I keep seeing some people kind of resubscribe. YouTube kicks people off all the time, so just double check that you're subscribed. Hit the bell notification so that you'll never miss a live event or a new video. You'll get a nice alert. Also, please do like these videos. It really helps in YouTube's algorithm. I do have a new Patreon, and thank you for everyone who's already signed up to support that Patreon. Giving $1 will basically make it easy. Pledging $1 every month will make it easier for me to continue doing these kinds of videos frequently. They take time out of my day. So basically you guys are paying for that content, and I will work hard to make sure that you get a lot of it. So thanks very much. Comic Artist Pro Secrets out.